And what's interesting is most salespeople, most negotiators, when someone hasn't responded to them, will say things like, hey, just following up, or hey, just wanted to check in. Hey, have you, I haven't heard from you for a while. And that's how I was before I read this book. Word for word, that's what I would say. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Fight Against Mediocrity, where I help you create your own economy and I teach you things about sales, business, and real estate. My name is Kevin Kartchner. Today we're going to be talking about Never Split the Difference by Voss. I'm going to do a quick book review on it and give you my top takeaways and hopefully persuade you to read it. It's a really good book, especially if you're doing any type of negotiation, which we all are, no matter what situation you're in. If you have parents, siblings, friends, spouse, kids, whatever you have, you're negotiating in your everyday life. If you've read it, I'd love to hear your comments down below, what your biggest takeaways were as you read it. So it's really cool. I probably read this about 4 years ago for the first time. I've read it about 3 or 4 times since. And my top 2 takeaways, and then I'll share one story at the end of how I helped one of our team members save $5,000 through something that I learned in this book. So my first takeaway is mirroring. He talks about it in the book. And I guess before I even talk about that, one of the cool things, so if you don't know who Voss is, he is was the lead FBI negotiator in hostage situations. So basically, if it's bad, he's there taking care of business. And what was really cool is after he retired, he started teaching all these negotiation skills and tactics. And none of it is necessarily sketchy. It's all very logical things. He talks about how humans are very emotional. And so, it's better to understand how to work with humans' emotions instead of just blindly saying things that could cause someone to, freak out or whatever, which in hostage situations is very crucial. So one of the cool things is in a FBI hostage situation, there is one person on the phone doing the talking, and then 5 people on the line just listening. So if you think about that, 5 people in the FBI just sit there and listen. And they listen for, just little tiny things that would help them in any way get through to this person. And as I read that, obviously in any situation we're in, typically we're the only one listening. And so it just reminded me how important it is to truly listen to what people are saying and seek to understand them before we try to get them to understand us. 5 to 1, that's 10 ears. And you just think, those aren't cheap, especially in those situations. They've thought it through and they know that listening truly works. So next time you're in a situation and you start thinking about what you want to say, just think about that for a second and truly try to understand what the other person is saying. Everyone just wants to be understood. At the end of the day, that's truly all anybody wants, is to be understood. And so he talks about mirroring. And basically what mirroring is when someone says something, you just repeat back the last 2 or 3 words to them. So if I said, hey, I don't know why this came to mind, but hey, I'm starting my senior year of high school tomorrow. If someone were to say that to me, I would just repeat senior year of high school and just put a little inflection at the end. And that's mirroring. So I'm mirroring what they said. And when humans mirror one another, the natural response for the person is to start telling more. And he calls it vomiting. They'll just start vomiting information. And so if someone says to me, I'm starting my first day of my senior year of high school tomorrow, and say, senior year of high school? They'd be like, well, yeah, it's my last year, this and this and this. I'm playing basketball. And they're just going to start talking more. And the reason that's important is because the more information you have, the better decisions you can make and the better you can help someone. Obviously, you can use these skills for good and evil. I'm teaching them to you for good, and so is Chris. But I remember I was reading this in a group. I was teaching a team these skills. And after we read about mirroring, one of the team members went back home and was able to use mirroring on his daughter. And typically his daughter is very reserved and doesn't say a lot. And what was cool is he came back the next day and he said, my daughter finally opened up to me. I just mirrored her and listened to her and she opened up to me and we talked for hours, and that typically doesn't happen. So it works. It's awesome. It's amazing. I use it all the time. And again, it's something to help you, something to help others talk more and not feel so invasive as you're doing so. So my top takeaway, one of the two top takeaways I had was mirroring. My second top takeaway, and again, there's, if you open this, I've got a whole list of notes. So I'm just giving you like the top cream of the crop, and then I'll let you read it and get your key takeaways. Again, I'd love to hear your comments down below. What do you think of mirroring? Have you used it? Are you going to use it? Do you think it works? Do you think it doesn't work? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Number 2, this has undoubtedly made me hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions and helped me sell millions of dollars of products. This one line, this one sentence. And it's, have you lost interest? Basically, so the scenario where I use it the most is in sales and business. When you're requesting something from someone, whether that's a sale or a meeting or whatever it is, and you say, have you lost interest? What that does in the mind of that person is they immediately say, yes, I have lost interest, which is great because then you actually know. Or they say no, and they tell you why not. It's an opportunity for them to say no and explain why not. And what's interesting is most salespeople, most negotiators, when someone hasn't responded to them, will say things like, hey, just following up, or hey, just wanted to check in. Hey, have you, I haven't heard from you for a while. And that's how I was before I read this book. Word for word, that's what I would say. And I'd probably get a response like 5 or 10% of the time. Not very good. And once I started using this, when I sold homes, I'd say, hey, have you lost interest in purchasing a new home? And it was so cool because I did the numbers. 9 out of 10 times I would get a response. And not only would I get a response, it would be typically within 5 minutes, if not that same day. And so what's really cool, and I'll even take this a step further and add my own flair into it. What I would do is I wake up inherently early. If you followed my stuff, I'm all into waking up early. So I'd wake up at, 4:35. And before I'd go into the gym, I'd go through my list, my texts, and just start texting people who haven't texted me back or haven't responded for a while. Have you lost interest? Have you lost interest? Have you lost interest? And I did that for 2 reasons. Number 1, I know that line works. And number 2, I know most people don't have the discipline to put their phone on airplane mode or do not disturb in the morning. So, and they usually leave it by their bed. All things I teach not to do. If you want to learn more about that, go to www.thefightagainstmediocrity.com/morning. And you can learn more about how to wake up early and the science behind that. Anyways, so I would do this. And what was really cool is most people leave their phones next to their bed. Again, don't do this, but people do it. So I use it to my advantage. And that I would be the first thing they would see in the morning, because most people aren't waking up before 6. And so most people wake up, pick up their phone. I have my phone right here. Pick up their phone, open their messages, and then I'm the first person they see. So what's really cool about that is I'm the first thing they think about. How powerful is that for you to be the first thing someone thinks about in the morning, the first person? Business is all about getting attention. If no one knows you, they can't use your services. So, man, it's super powerful. It is extremely powerful. That one thing right there will make you 6 figures in sales. Like that one thing. wake up early in the morning and follow up with everyone on your list. Hey, have you lost interest in, and don't add more to it. I've had people who say like, hey, have you lost interest in blank? Just wanted to follow up. Like that defeats the whole purpose. He teaches, have you lost interest in blank? So those are my top 2 takeaways. Let me tell you a story real quick about how I helped one of our team members here save $5,000. So, actually it was really just Chris Voss, but I was the in between, the messenger. So one of my team members was like, hey, I'm going to buy a car. Do you have any advice on negotiating or anything like that? And number one, like I'm not against paying full price. Paying full price is the best. I don't think businesses should discount in the first place, especially car manufacturers. How much easier would everyone's lives be if all car dealers just said, hey, this is the price. We don't negotiate. Like Tesla. Tesla doesn't negotiate. When you look up the price for a Tesla car, that's the best price, so you buy it or you don't. But the crazy thing about dealerships is it's all about, I want to go in and get the best deal. That's neither here nor there. But I knew, if the car dealership's willing and not disciplined enough to not negotiate, if they're not disciplined enough to keep their price, I thought, hey, I'll help them. So I shared a story with him of how Chris Voss bought his Toyota. And basically what you do is you go in and they tell you the price. So say you go in and they say, hey, the car's $30,000. There's a lot more that goes into this, but I'm just going to give you the nitty gritty. You basically just say, wow, $30,000, man. Oh man, this is an amazing car. It's my dream car. Thank you so much for even giving me the opportunity to be here. But we really were hoping to only spend $22,000. Now, immediately that is going to blow the salesperson's mind. Like, holy crap, this person wants an $8,000 discount. They're up in the night. They're smoking something. But what it does is it anchors really low the salesperson. And so now they're thinking, man, 22, if I could maybe get them to 24, 25, and maybe you really want 24 or 25. So come down a little bit lower and then they can go up. Anyway, so they say, yeah, 30. They respond 30. And you say, how am I supposed to do that? It's an awesome car. It's an amazing car, but we really can only do 22. And at that point, you'll know whether or not they're willing to negotiate. They'll be like, well, let me check. And so what happened with our team member is they went back and checked. And they came back and said, well, we can do X price. And I don't know what it was, but let's just say in this scenario, it would have been $28,000. So they came down from 30 to 28. And again, he said, oh man, that's so generous of you. This is such a beautiful car. We love it. It's everything we wanted, but we can really only do 22. And if they say, well, I'm sorry, it's 28, you just respond, how am I supposed to do that? And what he teaches in here is when you respond, how am I supposed to do that? You're putting the problem on their shoulders to solve. And again, this is playing all to human emotion, because if you know what's going on here in the salesperson mind, you're just going to say, hey, it's $30,000. We don't discount. This is the best price we can give, take it or leave it kind of thing, and build the value. But because people are so emotional, the salesperson is thinking, man, I really want this deal. I really want to get it through. And we've all been there. But anyways, so he ended up saving $5,000 on the car, which was really cool. This book is what, like, I don't know, can't be more than $25 on Amazon. So $25 investment, saved him $5,000. It's helped me sell millions of dollars of products and services. So read it. Those are my biggest takeaways. I'd love to hear your comments down below if you end up buying it, what you liked, and come back here and leave a comment of to help other people as well. And I'd love to hear your top takeaways if you have read it, or if you haven't. If you're thinking about buying it, just buy it. Invest in yourself, but then actually read it, and then read it again, share it with others. You guys are awesome. The fact that you're here listening to something like this says a lot about you. And so I'm just grateful that you're here on the Fight Against Mediocrity. Last thing, if you enjoyed this video, please, please, please subscribe and click the like button so more people can see this and you can see more of our videos so that we can better serve you. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day. We'll see you on the next video.